Welcome to the first after the game highlights for the 2011 Leeds Green Wave football season with Coach Keith Etheridge.
Our guest host is a former Leeds High All-State guard and linebacker under Coach Homer Smiles, Tommy Joe Alexander, and also the sponsor for this week's show. Tommy Joe?
What brings me here to sponsor the show was this week there's an election coming up on Tuesday the 30th. District 45 has a vacancy, and I'm running for that vacancy, and I want everybody to get out and vote for me. I appreciate it. I'm a Leeds man. I graduated from Leeds. I made All-State and All-County in football here under Homer Smiles, and I've lived in Leeds a lot of my life, and I want y'all to come out and support me. Coach, you came out a little bit slow in the first half, and in the second half it looks like you picked up the pace and brought it home for the home folks at Leeds.
Yes, sir. We got started a little bit slow, and that had a lot to do with Alexandria's a good football team. Year in, year out, they're in contention for 4A. They're in the playoffs, and we know that playing them, and that's why we play them, because they're such a good football team. It gets us ready for the year, prepares us, and we did. We came out first half a little bit slow. They drove down inside our 5-yard line. We got a big turnover. Our defense stepped up, and then we drove it back down, got it past the 50 and turned it over on downs and pinned them back deep, and then played some good defense and finally got on the board. I think it was 12-0 at halftime, and then really got some good play the second half from our offensive defensive front, and that's what wins football games. Offensive defensive front. And our running backs ran the ball great Friday night, and I think we had 2 guys with over 100 yards. One, Ladarius Rogers, had 13 carries for 205 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he's going to be a workhorse on the offensive side for us this year. It's just a good win for us Friday night, and good to see them get it back on pace in the second half and come out and play Leeds football.
We'll start with the defense, and then we'll go to the offense a little bit if you can.
Okay. On the defense side of the ball, we don't have but 4 guys returning. But they're 4 good ones. We've got our leading tackler, Ronald Woods. We have Javier Mitchell, who's one of the top 5 players in the state. We have some guys who have played sparingly for us. Trayvon Strickland's actually a guy who started for the last 3 years for us. And, we have Ladarius Rogers. All 4 of those guys started on defense last year. They're playing different positions this year to help the team out. But we have a good group of guys who played a lot last year who are coming in and taking up some slack. One in particular is Devin Braxton, had a great game the other night. Eddie Boswell had a great game the other night. So we've got some guys stepping in and doing a fantastic job for us defensively. We've got a good young secondary. They're going to be tested a lot this year. And I thought they did well the other night. We got hands on some balls and it got tipped around. They made some circus catches on us, but we were in good position all night, which made me feel real good about the young guys. And a lot of people aren't going to have a lot of time to throw the ball on us because our defensive front's pretty good. So I feel good about the effort defensively the other night. We had a shutout going, I think, midway into the 4th quarter. I think they scored when we put the younger guys in with about 5 minutes left, and then we sort of kept the younger guys in for the rest of the game. You don't want to get anybody hurt that late in the game that you got in control. And like I said, to be in that position against a team like Alexandria speaks volumes about our kids and how well they play defense the other night.
Coach, you have a new offensive coordinator, and you have both old and new faces on offense. Tell us about the backfield and the line and the rest of the offense for this year.
We do have a new offensive coordinator, Thomas Elliott. He's done a fantastic job for us. We lost Coach Carlisle last year. He went to Lincoln to become offensive coordinator and head baseball coach there. Was a great friend of mine, so is Coach Elliott. Both of those guys are great offensive coordinators, and Coach Elliott's brought a little different spice to the table. We're going to run a little more option this year, and that sort of opens some things up for us on the offensive side. We do have some new faces out there, but most of the faces people recognize because we got 5 of the 6 starters up front back, including with our tight end, along with the other 4 of the 5 offensive linemen. We've got Ladarius Rogers back in the backfield. We have our fullback Christian Blaylock back. Have a receiver TJ Phillips back, who also plays some quarterback for us. So we got 8 starters back on the offensive side, and I think that's going to be a strength for us this year. We're going to be able to run the football. People are going to put a lot of people in the box. So we're going to have to throw it a little bit more this year, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And I think our guys are up for it. And I think the newspaper guy from the Birmingham News actually made the statement, "I'd probably rather pass a kidney stone than pass a football," which is was a pretty good statement. But we're going to have to do a little more throwing this year to get some people out of the box and get some give our guys a chance to get to the line of scrimmage without taking 3 or 4 hits. But we got running backs who can break tackles and run the ball real hard. We got a great front up in front of them that averages about 265, 270 across the front. So I'm looking for that to be one of our strengths this year.
Coach, I know we had an ejection this game, and it seems like it's been a long time since we've had one at Leeds. Could you tell us about it?
Absolutely. It's the second ejection since I've been here in the 6 years I've been here. The first one was overturned by the Alabama High School Athletic Association because it was said that a kid kicked a kid, and after reviewing the film, we sent it into the State Department, and he actually was pulling his foot out of a pile. He wasn't trying to kick anybody. The ejection the other night was for a kid actually shoving a kid down. He did after the action that the kid took. He got shoved in the back, turned back around, sort of got jammed in the face, and then he reacted to that. And if you react, you're always going to be the one that gets caught, and that's what I tell the guys. And it was an unfortunate incident, and he understands that he's going to have to pay the consequences for that because even though it was something that a lot of people would have reacted to, we can't do that on the football field. We're there to play football, and that's the only reason we're there. We're not in it for any extracurricular activity other than to win a football game. And our guys understand that. And this was a guy that hadn't got to play much, so he was sort of frustrated when he thought he was being, shoved around pretty good, so he reacted to it. And, he's a good young man, and he's going to accept the consequences.
Coach, tell us about Mulberry and that you're going to play in Homer Smiles Football Stadium next week.
Yes, sir. We're going to play Mulberry. It's our first region game. They're a good football team. Last year they missed the playoffs by 1 game. So in our region, that's it's tough to make the playoffs because our region's so good year in, year out. They've got a great football team, great football coaches over there. Do a fantastic job with it. They bring that spread offense and they run it well. Defensively, they run the stack, so we'll get to see some of the stuff we do defensively Friday night. And they've got a lot of kids returning off that team they had last year who gave us fits early, and we hit some big plays on them that sort of changed the momentum of the game, made them start doing some things they wasn't used to doing. So hopefully, we can win the turnover battle. We can play Leeds football and control the clock and keep the ball out of their offense's hands and come up with a win Friday night. I just want to thank everybody for last Friday night. Everybody showing up, coming to the game, support. Thank all the quarterback club members for everything they did prior to the game. It's a lot of work that a lot of people don't know go into it. Also, I want to thank Lee Latta, who came up this weekend, painted the LHS and the wave on the other side of the field for us. It looks unbelievable. There's so many people that do so many things that are unnoticed by the common spectator, but are appreciated by the coaching staff and all the people who are involved. They take so much work off of me and the other coaches and allow us to focus on coaching football and focus on our kids that play for Leeds High School. And I just want to say thank you to all of you.
Coach, I know I've already mentioned about playing football for Homer Smiles, but I would like to tell you that Homer Smiles made the Hall of Fame in Alabama, and he was one of the best people that I ever knew in my life. And I played 3 years of football for him, and he was great. And he won many championships while he was at Leeds, and it looks like you're headed the same way. You have an excellent record at Leeds, and I think that someday you will be in the Hall of Fame. And I would like to say this: thank you for sharing the game views with me, and go Green Wave.